According to a study, only about 8% of people achieve their goals, and a staggering 92% of people don't get to achieve their goals. It's 2026, and everyone is filled with anticipation, hope that this is the year that they're going to finally hit their goals. But let me tell you how you're going to achieve those goals that you've set the right way. And I'll walk you through the exact steps that I am doing to make sure that I also achieve my goals for 2026. We can all have goals, but to be a top achiever, you must know, understand, and follow these basic skills for setting and attaining your goals all the time. Let's get into today's video. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Chidima and I am building a community for multi-passionate women and audacious women living our best lives by developing into our best selves and creating our dream life. I talk about personal development, productivity, and if that is something that you enjoy watching, you're welcome to the channel. Now let's get into today's video. I'm going to be talking with us how we can actually achieve our goals for 2026, and I'm also sharing the steps that I'm currently taking as well to make sure that I reach my goals. Now, a lot of us end up setting up goals for the year and we end up never achieving even half of those goals, and it's not because we don't have good intentions for our years or we don't want the best for us, but it's just because there's a gap between our intentions and our execution, and I'm going to break it down in this video. One of the reasons why we don't meet our goals at the end of the year is lack of specificity. We set goals that are too abstract and vague, and so we are not able to break down those goals into actionable steps that would make it easier for us to follow through. Take, for example, someone's goal for the year could be, I want to lose weight. That is so vague because you haven't specified how you're going to lose the weight, how much weight you want to lose. You haven't even specified the time frames for the weight you want to lose. So I'm going to break down this goal, I want to lose weight this year, and I'm going to take us through the SMART framework where S stands for specific. So when we're setting goals, we want to be very specific about the goal and what we want to achieve. Okay, so S stands for specific. Instead of just saying I want to lose weight, I'm going to turn this into a SMART goal. I am going to walk 30 minutes every day for a month so that I can lose 1 to 2 pounds. You see what I did there? I'm going to walk 30 minutes every day. So that is very specific. Okay, and then it's measurable because I've said I'm going to walk 30 minutes, and also it is achievable because it's not for a very long time. It's something that I could just go out, walk 15 minutes somewhere and walk 15 minutes back, and that's it for the day. Okay, now I'm going to break this even further in trying to be specific now in losing weight. Instead of saying I'm going to eat healthier, say things like I'm going to stop buying sugar and I would replace sugary drinks with water or with lemon water. That is you being very specific. I have said I'm going to walk 30 minutes every day for a month. Okay, so how am I going to measure that? It means that I'm going to be using my fitness app or my fitness watch to track and measure my step counts for the day. I currently use MyFitnessPal where I log the amount of food I ate by the calories, and I also make use of the app Fastly where I also measure how long I have fasted. So I hope you're seeing what I'm saying. Like, we have to make SMART goals achievable and attainable. You could even reduce the 30 minutes walk every day to 10 minutes. I'm going to walk 10 minutes every day or 10 minutes 4 days out of the 7 days in a week. This is something that is attainable and it has to be relevant to you as well. Okay, I'm going to lose this weight because I want to stay off my high blood pressure drugs. I want to reverse my diabetes. And finally, the goal has to be time bound. I want to do this for the next 2 weeks. I'm going to do this for the next 1 month and then assess and see how that goes. And so one of the reasons why a lot of us don't meet our goals is because we are not setting SMART goals, and that's just the truth. And for us to meet our goals, we need to start setting smarter goals. Another reason why a lot of us don't make our goals is that we give up too soon. After trying a hack for 2 weeks, it starts to lose its shine and we want to try the next thing. And we forget that what builds results is consistency and discipline over time. Repeatedly doing something over and over again until it becomes a part of your life and it becomes a lifestyle. And sometimes we get distracted by so many other things things that other people are doing or distracted by life, and we just forget the reason why we started in the first place. Another reason why sometimes we give up too soon is that we underestimate the difficulty, how difficult it actually is to stay consistent. And something that I'm currently learning is, instead of worrying myself about all the things that I need to be doing, I've started working on things that I need to take out of my life in order to be consistent. So I'll go back to the sugar example. For the past about 2 years now, we haven't bought sugar, the white sugar. We haven't bought sugar in our home, and that's just a conscious decision that we've made to stop buying sugar. Initially, this was very difficult, but now I don't even miss sugar anymore. And so I was saying that I'm focusing now on taking out things that no longer serve me in my life and replacing it with things that will take me to the next level. For example, instead of always listening to music or binge watching movies, when I'm doing house chores now, I find myself listening to podcasts that would elevate me, especially podcasts that teach me about self-development, my finances, and also my career. I no longer just listen to music to while away time, because it's kind of killing two birds with one stone. Yeah. And so I encourage you to listen to podcasts instead of music when you are at the gym or you're doing some house chores and cleaning. Just listen to some podcasts, because listening to experts talk, it challenges your own thoughts and you get more insight and more knowledge about a specific thing that otherwise you wouldn't have known about. Something else is the use of AI, because I cannot make this video without talking about AI. AI is here to stay, and it is important that we recognize that it's a tool that is there to help us, and it's not meant to replace our thinking. It is meant to simplify and automate tasks. So now I like to think of AI as a personal assistant. This enables me to work faster, move faster, and plan faster. Now, something else that we need to do in order to achieve our goals, I wouldn't say read more books, but yes, if you can, definitely read more books. However, is planning your week and living a boring life. Yes, I said it. When I say live a boring life, it means live your life on autopilot in such a way that you know what you're doing by Monday and you know what you're doing Friday. That's what I mean. Now, I don't mean plan your days every second and every minute, but low-key, that's what I mean. I've been reading this book. I'm going to show you guys in a moment. It's called The 12-Week Year, and what this book has taught me is the reason why a lot of us don't achieve our goals is because we're not writing down our goals and setting actionable steps and actually working on it daily. We're setting goals too far in the future, and so it's so difficult to plan that far ahead in the future from January to December than working on short-term goals. And that's why this book talk about creating an urgency in achieving your goals by focusing on consistent execution and disciplined action rather than annual timelines that allow for procrastination. I'm going to delve more into this book in another video, but let's get back into our discussion. So another reason why we are not meeting our goals is excessive use of social media. Yes, I said it. We spend too much time doom scrolling, and you will be shocked when you check your screen time and see that you've spent 9 hours on social media. Now, ask yourself, how many hours do we have in a day for us to spend 9 hours, 8 hours on social media? That's crazy. And studies have shown that excessive use of social media causes anxiety, low self-esteem, depression, loneliness, a lot. It's a lot. Driven by dopamine fueled likes. So you get high on the likes and the reposts, and then you want to keep chasing that high. It's like a drug. And also FOMO, the fear of missing out. Excessive use of social media also causes sleep deprivation, academic struggles, and decreased world interaction. And so you find out that you can live in the same house with someone and not know them, or you could live in the same house with someone and you would spend the whole day not talking to each other and not communicating with each other, and that is so terrible. Now, I'm not one to judge, because I also am working on my social media exposure and consumption, and so I'm not one to judge, but I just want us to take time out to name it that our excessive use of social media is part of the reasons why we are not making or working on our goals, and that has to change in 2026. And so it's important that once in a while you do what I call a digital purge, Unfollow accounts that no longer serve you. Unfollow people that make you question your self-worth, that make you feel like a terrible person. Or even news outlets. Unfollow news outlets that only share bad news, because the truth of the matter is most news outlets capitalize on bad news because that's what makes the headlines. And so you don't have to consume all of this negative news. Yes, I know it's important to know what's going on in the world, but consuming too much of it affects your mental health. And then you start having all these feelings of anxiety, unrest. And these are things that we do not want, because we want our minds to be clear so that we can work on our goals for the year. That's the beauty about choices. You have a choice to listen to things that you want to listen to. It's also important to know that what worked for others might not work for you, because I know a lot of things on social media now. People are giving advice about how they, for example, achieved wealth, how they achieved this and how they achieved that. And it's okay if what worked for someone does not work for you, or you see that someone's routine does not work for you. This is why it's important to be self-aware and know yourself, know your circumstances, and experiment. Okay, if someone has come out to say this is how they achieved something, it's okay to experiment, but don't beat yourself up if it doesn't work for you. There are no one ways to success, and everyone has their own path to take. And so it's best to adapt an advice to fit your own lifestyle. And now I want to talk about something that I am currently doing that has made me on track to achieving my goals. I mentioned earlier that I'm currently reading the 12-week yearbook. Something that I'm focusing on right now is creating systems. I'm putting systems in place that would make it easier for me to be consistent than not to be consistent. These systems are going to lead me to my goals rather than just waiting for motivation, because I can't rely on motivation. Okay, I found out that I cannot rely on motivation to do anything, because I could wake up one day and be like, the night before I would go to bed and tell myself I would wake up early by 5 a.m. I'm going to work out, all motivated. And then I'll wake up and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. But guess what? Consistency and discipline would get you further than motivation ever would. An example of a system that I've put in place is I struggle with low blood iron, and so one of my goals is to stay consistent with my vitamins, and so I've gotten a pill organizer that would help me stay consistent with this. I've also worked out a weekly plan, and this is the first time I've ever done this. I've worked out a weekly plan for myself, and each day I go through that plan and make sure that I tick off the things that I'm meant to be doing. Setting goals and achieving them is easier than we think if we can just come up with systems that help us get there. And it's important as well to be flexible, to expect obstacles, but then also make sure to adjust our plans without giving up. We need to account for things that would disrupt our flow, and also celebrate ourselves. In achieving our goals for 2026, focus on 1% improvements daily. Small and consistent daily progress would lead to significant long-term achievements. Setting goals is not autonomous to only winners, okay? Winners and losers set goals. But the question is, what's the difference between the two? Execution. We often concentrate on the people that have achieved something, say they win a gold medal or they win an award, but we tend to forget people who have the same objective but didn't succeed. Now, the difference between winners and losers is that winners implement even 1% every day. They get better every day and they make continuous small improvements. That's why they achieved a different outcome. A lot of us think that when we've achieved a particular goal, that's it. This is something I suffer from. I would decide to go on a diet and I would, be consistent at it. I would work out and I would see that I'm losing weight. And guess what I would do? I would stop. And this is why I say achieving a goal is only momentarily. Like, it's only for that moment. Say, for example, your room is untidy and you decide to clean your room. If you continue with the same bad habits of not tidying up after yourself, the room is going to get dirty again. And so that's what consistency is. It's about consistently doing the same thing in order to keep your results. And there was something Steve Barnett said in one of his podcasts. He says that he never tells himself that he has cracked it. He never says to himself, oh, I've cracked working out, because the moment we tell ourselves that we've cracked it, what happens when we, stop doing that thing that we thought we've cracked? We start feeling bad and beating ourselves up. But if you tell yourself that you've never cracked this thing, you're just going to keep showing up consistently, then times when you fall off, you know that you're going to get back into that thing, right? And not beat yourself up because you expected it anyways. You don't have it figured out. And so achieving a goal only changes your life for a moment. You have to keep working to keep that goal. And that's why they say fitness is a lifestyle, okay? It's not a destination, it's a lifestyle. So if you want to have long-lasting results, you have to fix the system. Fix the system, and what you put into it and what you get out of it will be consistent. And so to round up this video, I'm going to leave you with 7 steps that you need to achieve your goals. The first one is write down your goals. You can write this on a piece of paper or a software that you use to plan, and you can write down your goals as much as you want and as often as you want, because this keeps it in your vision, this keeps it in your head and makes you more focused throughout the day. The second thing I would say is to set a deadline. Set a target date by which you want to complete your goal. If you have a larger goal and a big goal for 2026, break it down into months, into quarters, and focus on that for a quarter. Breaking your goals into smaller steps helps it seem more achievable and less daunting. The third thing is to work on your mindset. Tell yourself that you can achieve this. Have a half glass full look at situation instead of an half empty look. Working on your mindset also means working on your attitude and your approach towards your goals and towards work. This is a lifelong process, trust me. Now, the fourth thing I would say is to develop your skill set. Oftentimes, when we're setting goals, the skills that we currently have would not get us to where we want to be. So it's important that you develop your skill set. If public speaking, for example, is one of your goals for 2026, definitely invest in attending workshops that teaches people about public speaking. Read books on public speaking, communication. Go out more for networking events where you can communicate and talk to other people just to get that practice in, because a goal that you have would require some form of personal growth. And so figure out what new knowledge and what new skill that you will have to develop. Find the best source for gaining this knowledge and invest wisely to develop the assets that you would need on your path to success. And number 5 is start today. Take the first step today. Don't wait till next week or next month or when things are fine and when everything, the stars are aligned, because guess what? It's never going to be like that. So you might as well start now and make adjustments as you go. The path to success is not often straight, okay? Always keep your goal in front of you at all times. Remain in focus, maintain your excitement and enthusiasm, and keep moving forward. Commit to doing at least one thing every day that would move you closer to achieving your goals. And finally, I would say reward yourself. When you achieve a goal, it's important that you reward yourself. Look back on your achievements and enjoy the satisfaction that success brings. And once you've enjoyed and celebrated yourself, definitely set your next goal, making it bigger, bolder, and more audacious than the last one. We can all have goals, but to be a top achiever, you must know, understand, and follow these basic skills for setting and attaining your goals all the time. I wish you good luck with your goals, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.